Welcome back to the Legal Brief, the show where we crush the various legal myths and misinformation surrounding various areas of the gun world. I'm your host, Adam Kraut, and today we're conducting a super duper FBI specialty background check to make sure you are allowed to consume this content lawfully according to the upcoming statute pursuant to subsection of the SB Tactical, the originator of the pistol stabilizing brace, set the bar for innovation and product development in the PDW pistol category. From the insanely popular SB-M4 to the adjustable SB-A3 and even kits for pump-action firearms, SB Tactical braces are available for a wide variety of firearm platforms in fixed, adjustable, and side-folding models. To get 15% off your legally transported and carried pistol braces, use the code TGC15 over at sb-tactical.com. Less than a week into the 116th session of Congress, Representative Mike Thompson, a Democrat from California, and Representative Peter King, a Republican from New York, I think there's a joke in there somewhere, have introduced H.R. 8, which has been titled the Bipartisan Background Checks Act of 2019. It looks like 2019 is going to be a long year. The bill would prohibit non-licensees, people like you or me, from transferring a firearm to another person unless a gun dealer has first taken possession of the firearm and conducted a background check. You may have also heard this referred to as universal background checks or closing the gun show loophole. I didn't realize doing something that's not illegal was a loophole, but whatever, here we go. Unsurprisingly, as with what seems to be in every piece of gun control legislation introduced, there are some exceptions. As you likely guessed, there is an exception for law enforcement, the military, and armed private security, so long as the transfer is done in their official capacity. The bill does provide an exemption for transfers between immediate family members as well. Those would include transfers between spouses, parents to children, grandparents to grandchildren, etc. The four other examples that would get a pass would be the executors or administrators of a will or a trustee of a trust, transfers to an individual to prevent imminent death or great bodily injury, but only for the period of time which that could occur, and that begs all kinds of questions. Transfers at a shooting range for the purposes of target shooting or hunting. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but Adam, how can they enforce this without some sort of registration? There has to be some sort of registration in this, right? Well, the bill actually states that nothing in this act or amendment made to this act shall be construed to authorize the establishment, directly or indirectly, of National Firearms Registry. And remember, we're talking about the Gun Control Act, not the National Firearms Act, which is allowed to have a registry by law. So in short, I don't know how they'd enforce it. The bill also contains provisions that would not allow any regulations set by ATF in relation to the bill, if it were passed into law, to force a gun dealer to conduct the checks required or cap any fees associated with conducting the transaction. In other words, dealers would have the discretion to participate in facilitating the transactions if they wanted to and could charge whatever they so desired. Simply put, the bill would require background checks on transfers of firearms between most people. While there's certain exceptions, this would obviously affect a decent segment of transactions conducted by law-abiding citizens. This is one you're going to want to pick up your phone and call your representative to tell them to vote no on. That's it for this episode. If you learned anything from the show, help us out, hit that like button, make sure you share it with your friends. Don't forget to get subscribed, and if you enjoyed the video, consider supporting us via the links down in the video description. Be sure to check out the Gun Collective podcast on iTunes, and as always, thanks for watching. This bill also, if it would scroll, I could tell you all about it. It would be great. The best. Oh, there it goes. The best. It's going to be the biggest wall you've ever seen. Mexico's going to pay for it. No, we're going to pay for it. Mexico's going to pay for it while we pay for it. Somebody's paying for it.
I'm not paying for it.
Nobody's paying for it.
The shirts worn in today's video on the Gun Collective have been provided by Patriot Patch. Closed captions have also been brought to you by Patriot Patch Company. Be sure to click the link in the video description to check out all of their great products, including their cleaning mats.